Welcome to our crypto podcast, where we explore cryptocurrency, blockchain, discussing the latest trends, news, and developments in the industry. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, guys, this podcast is built for everyone. So our goal is to provide you with informative, up-to-date content, real-time charts, and just keep you up to date in this industry, which is rapidly evolving. So sit back, relax, grab your, I wouldn't say cup of coffee. We're shooting this at 8 p.m. Eastern. So let's get into the charts. So first things first, as usual, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart. We're looking good. We're still above this moving average. We haven't broke below, it's 30,000. What are we at? 30,082. We've been at 30,000 for quite some time now. We have a pretty strong resistance here. Ethereum 1890, so kind of same thing. Last 3 months, this thing's been trading sideways between a range. We have the high of 21 right here, and then we have the lower end of it, which was about 1750, and we've been pretty much range bound for the last 3 months. So this is a great time to accumulate. Total market cap, we're sitting at $1.16 trillion. Same deal. Yeah, I like the charts. I'm happy with where we're at. I feel like the worst is behind us, and I'm excited. I can't not be bullish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we'll look back and see that this was a great time to be accumulating because the price has just been so steady.
Yeah, and if
It's
you've
been
been
a great
watching,
DCA range.
yeah, and if you've been watching our podcast, we started at right after, what was it? Right after FTX, or was it during?
Yeah, right around that time. Yeah,
Dude,
we were covering all that.
Dude,
Yeah,
we got the very bottom. That's awesome. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do, is just keep posting content, whether we're in a bull market or a bear market. We're gonna be pushing content with you. We're gonna be trying to push even more content out, going into the end of the year and all next year. So super excited. I would hate to be a bear right now. Seriously, guys, stocks or crypto is making an all-time high. This is something where I don't want to be not in it. And I would hate to sell crypto to chase the NASDAQ right now. Although the NASDAQ, and that's what happened back in 2018. The market was ripping, and we were pretty much in that crypto winter. So
yeah.
first set of news, Ben Mackenzie was just on CNBC in front of Congress testifying against crypto. He actually made a book, and he's actually coming out with a book, why he thinks crypto is the biggest Ponzi scheme. He lost a lot of money in crypto, and he just thinks there's no utility behind it. And I kind of just think he's very ignorant. But what are your thoughts on Ben Mackenzie? We just watched him.
Yeah, we covered this a while back in one of our podcasts with him, talking negative about Bitcoin, and then we find out that he explained it that like money he could afford to lose, but it was 250,000, which maybe that's what he can afford to lose. But 250,000 is 250,000, and he had a short position that he lost betting against crypto and betting against Bitcoin. So around the time that he was out there writing his book and talking bad about crypto and Bitcoin, he was highly incentivized to do so because he had a position against it. So I mean, obviously he's gonna be in the club of being anti-crypto and anti-Bitcoin. And since then we've seen the price go up almost 100% since he was talking about it being a scam and a Ponzi, because he was one of the big prominent voices after FTX collapsed and all the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. So since he came out talking pretty harshly, the price has been up 100%, and here we are still trading in that range. So he basically saying that something's worthless. That's obviously the market feels otherwise. So either you change your, and this is a good lesson for just like everyday life, right? Like you can have a position on something, and that's fine, but like as you gather new information, you should always be open to seeing the other side and maybe reevaluating your position. Not to say that you should always change your positions, but like when you get new, it's okay to have a position when you don't know a lot, but like as you gain new information, you should be the type of person that's open to seeing things a little bit differently, adding that information into your repertoire, and just making better educated decisions in everyday life, not just Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like, when I'm trading, I like to seek out negative news, kind of look at both sides of it. and then make a more reasonable, smart investment decision. So there's no funny surprises at the end. I look at the negative. This was a cool chart. I want to pull this up real quick. This is Bitcoin entering a new era. The great disappearance. If you thought Bitcoin's past was impressive, you're going to be blown out of the world of this new red era. Basically, as you can see, every halving event, we have every halving, these three halvings, and the supply is going down, and that's what we want. We want something that's in a deflationary.
Couple of things that we haven't seen that we've talked about both on and off camera. Number one, we've never had a bull run with rates being high. That was number one. We talked about that. So that's a new phenomenon that we're going to see this next cycle. The second thing that we haven't seen, which is much more important to Bitcoin and crypto, is that we haven't seen the supply is low on exchanges as we are going to see this next halving event and subsequent bull run. With FTX and the washout with 3AC and, all that leverage trading and all those exchanges that went under, that created a lot of people, panicking and taking their crypto and Bitcoin off of exchanges. And that's kind of just been a thing. Like, it really hasn't gone back on exchanges. So there's such a small supply. Plus, we're going to have the supply shock of the halving. Those two things combined, we're just going to see a rocketing bull market with just the least amount of supply that we've ever seen in any one of these cycles before, with these numbers being as high as they're going to be, which is going to be really, really, really fun to watch, I think.
And we have the institutional money coming in. Yep. There's so many things to be bullish on. I think this is going to be the last, not the last, but one of the bigger bull runs. It's going to, catch us. You got to be ready for this, guys.
This is going to be your last chance to make money in Bitcoin, in my opinion. I think it's, let me make that clear. I don't want to say that it's not going to be right to still continue to buy in dollar cost average after this cycle passes. And I think that we'll see another, crypto bear market where it'll be right to accumulate and you'll still make money on that. But I'm talking about like your opportunity to, turn, 10 or 20,000 into six figures. You know what I mean? Or more.
Yeah.
I think, or if you have the capital to deploy and buy one coin for 30,000, being able down the line to see that be, 100,000, 250,000, or even maybe $1 million down the road. I think this is your last real opportunity to take the investing capital that you have. And many Americans don't have 30,000. They may only have 1,000. They may have 2,000, or maybe at the most like 5 or 10,000 that they really can deploy. And if you were to take that and put that in Bitcoin and hold it and let it sit, which is something that not many people can do, but if you are in that camp that you can, and you were to do that and let it sit for the next 5 or 10 years, I think this right now is your last opportunity to really make that into something in just Bitcoin. Right. But as a quasi Bitcoin maxi, it's always going to be right, in my opinion, to continue to accumulate Bitcoin, no matter what the price is. But if you really want to turn that into some life-changing money, I think this is our last chance to do so, because I think we hit six figures. And I think the next bear market is going to be just, for many people, 30,000 is already like too much. But I think the next bear market, you're going to see a number that's just going to be out of reach for just far too many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look,
does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And if you look at this chart here, buying Bitcoin under this green line has always been a good move. And we're still kind of below this green line. But for how much longer is the question? Are you stacking? Not financial advice. You can lose more than you put in with leverage. Just make educated investment decisions, seek good information. Like we have our podcast, we have, Anthony Pomp, we have Bankless, all these other great builders in this industry that I encourage people to look into. It might be a little bit more intermediate. We lean more towards, the traditional investor or the skeptic or someone that's newer in the industry. Like I said, yeah, I encourage people to do that. So we have another thing. The Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco is hiring for roles regarding a CBDC. That is insane. You
Well,
know,
we didn't really. Well, we haven't had a podcast for a couple of weeks, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But even mainstream media, like July 20th, Fed now went into effect, and it really didn't get a lot of like pomp and circumstance. Like that's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? Like that's the like entry. It's not the CBDC, and we talked about that in a podcast, but it's the like the stepping stones of like laying that foundation for the eventual CBDC. It's the behind the scenes, like banks are now going to be settling transactions instantaneously where it would take the clearinghouse to do so in the past. So that's like the first seedlings of, going down that CBDC road. And I mean, I watch all the financial channels and outside of like Bitcoin Twitter, which it's obviously was spoken about there, but traditional mainstream media, it was like a brief mention and they just kind of moved on.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw something different, but that's kind of was my experience with it. I mean, July 20th just came and went and it really wasn't really spoken too much about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. The CBDCs, I know a lot of the president candidates they have no choice but to talk about it. Cryptocurrency, CBDCs, what are their thoughts on it? And there's a lot of great takes. We have Ron DeSantis, who is against CBDCs. And then we have Robert Kennedy
On the other side, also against. Yeah.
Yep. And they're actually talking about backing the US dollar with 1% of Bitcoin and other hard assets.
Oh man, that'd be the rocket fuel, man.
That's the green light.
If they go that route, I mean, it's something else if that happens. If the United States ever did that, I mean, the numbers are just like stupid.
Yeah.
At that point, you can't fathom.
Study found out that 23% of American digital asset investors thinks Bitcoin will come back to its all-time high price of 70K within this next year. Do you think now that information travels faster, do you think we're going to have shorter cycles? Like that's something I really was thinking about.
I'm very hesitant to say that it would because my initial thought is no because of the built-in halving. Mm-hmm. As long as, which I believe will always be the case, as long as Bitcoin is the top dog and kind of like, is the leader and leads everything, and we have the 4-year halving cycle and the supply being cut in half, things are just like every cycle they say that the cycle is going to break. Like even in 2017, after that it was like, all right, now the cycle is going to break, and then we saw 2020 and it was like, oh, the cycle is going to break, and here we are 100% plus off the low, gearing towards another event where we're going to see the halving and most likely all-time highs again. So it's like Satoshi was genius, man. The way that the protocol was built is close to, I mean, I hate to say the word perfect because I don't think anything is perfect, but as close as we have to perfect money, just like understanding money from a root fundamental basis and in first principles, like everything about the protocol just, no, I really don't. To answer your question, no, I think the cycles will probably remain the same. The volatility will probably change. Mm-hmm. That we'll probably see a difference in. I don't think we're going to have these wild, like 85, 90% drops in the future. I think that part will change. But I think the 4-year cycle, man, I think, and you know what? Like, I think eventually we're going to see. The reason why I don't think the volatility will be as high is because I think once more adoption comes into the space and more people are really actively involved, they'll recognize the 4-year cycle and it won't allow those big drops because you won't have the sell off because people are going to know in 4 years we're going to see this thing rocket again. Clockwork. I don't think you'll see as big of a drop.
Yeah. So we have two scenarios and we can make a $5 bet, or we don't even have to bet. But what scenario do you think's most likely going to play out? We're at 29.8 right now. We have scenario 1, an ascending triangle. The market remains generally bullish, pretty much up only from here. We might have some sideways price action over the next couple of weeks, months. But then by the end of the year, we hit that 40, 50,000 price point. Or do you see it more playing out like a 2015 style bear market where the market maintains lower prices. Bullish price action begins closer to the 2024 halving. We have kind of like that sell off, panic sell, paper hands, and then we rip.
When was that sell? When exactly was that sell? Can you read the time frame for me?
This?
The second one, yeah, right there.
This is 2022. This is a most recent bull run, but this is foreshadowing.
So what happened in 2015 that had that drop? Like where was that? What would that mimic?
So let me pull up the Bitcoin chart.
I feel like something happened around that time frame, and that's why we had it.
Yeah, 2015, right here, the bear market. And then it rocketed.
I mean, I don't think we'll be up only. I don't think it's healthy to be up only, honestly. So I don't know if necessarily chart 2 is going to play out either, but up only is just not. I don't think that's going to be, even when the institutional investors come in, like, and this from any sort of investing, like up only is just that's like the number one.
Unhealthy.
Like, it's a scam. Like if anything goes up only, then you should be like very, very skeptical of what's about to happen next.
Right.
And it's never been up only. Even though Bitcoin is up like infinite percentage points in the last 10 years, it hasn't been an up only thing. I mean, we've had 5 or 6 90% drops along the way, from 1 penny to 69,000. We've had like 5 or 6 90% drops to be sitting at 30,000. So that's just volatility that traditional investors aren't used to, but it's healthy volatility.
Bitcoin was at 1 penny.
It was less than that.
Bitcoin was at less than 1 penny. Holy crap.
Yeah, when that first when the pizza transaction occurred,
how much was like,
I mean, the pizza transaction was 20,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. So I mean, what could have been trading at that point?
Yeah,
that's less than a penny.
We have the Bitcoin halving countdown block reward, which will decrease from 6.25 to 3.125 coins. 200 less than a year, 270 days. You can get this right on CoinGecko. It goes over the halving, so if you want to learn more about it.
We also did a newsletter at some point talking about the halving as well.
www.definelabs.com. Yeah, or CoinGecko. All right, moving on. In June, when Bitcoin reached 30K, we saw the most profit taking from ATH, short-term holders. This continued throughout July, buying FTX and SVB collapse with minimal profit taking now. In the past month, we have seen a lot of sell pressure, miners, etc. Extremely bullish to have held 30K. I'm bullish, man.
First comment right down there says, too, especially with miners now finished selling.
And DCA Bitcoin just commented DCA Bitcoin.
let me ask you this. We are in July, getting close to August, so we've got 5 months left. Do we hit 40K before the first of the year? Yeah, give me a percentage. I won't say yes or no. Give me a percentage of what you think we hit 40K at least one time before the end of the year.
Well, I think we're going to get about $10 billion inflowed of money as soon as we get that application approved.
That's another question too that we could also debate. Does the ETF get approved before the first of the year? Because I think that corresponds with the first question.
I do. I think it's about 50-50. And I think if we hit 40K, it could be more of buy the hype, sell the news, even though we're not going to sell. I think we hit 40K. That the percentages, I honestly think it's like 60%.
60% we hit 40K?
By the end of the year.
I would say 33.
Why 33%?
I say 33 because, and again, you're the chart guy. This isn't my area of expertise, but a lot of the guys that I follow are saying that 38K is like a big resistance point. and that when we like, there's a lot of room from 32 to 38. There's like a vacuum where if it hits 32 and gets past and holds, 38 is probably where it rockets to. But there's a lot of resistance up at that 38. That may hold back us from getting before the first of the year, because I think there's a lot of time that'll elapse before that ETF gets approved. That could be maybe in the next couple months, maybe by September, October. Then we rocket to 32, and then we go from 32 to 38, and we hit that resistance, and then maybe we don't hit 40 before the first of the year. That's kind of my thought process of why that would be. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 38 isn't, and I don't know. The guys I'm following know what they're talking about, but from what I've heard, 38 seems to be that there's a sticking point for some reason around 38.
Yeah, I can see maybe like what is this right here? 38. Yeah, so we can say, there's a little bit of a resistance here.
You see it too in your whatever, like however you look at the chart.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the bottom of this candle. These candles, this candle right before this capitulation.
38. Yeah.
Okay. And I think we can have, let's see if I can draw this out, ghost feed. So it'd be like that. And then April might like sell off into that like this. And then it's just gonna, let's see, April is the halving, and it's just gonna go like that. There'll be spaces in the chart. That's how much it's gonna rocket off. Not financial advice. Crypto's risky. It's gonna be fun, dude.
Well, I mean, we say not financial advice, and it's not, and we say crypto's risky, and it is, but we've never not had a rocket event after the halving of Bitcoin, and we now have a decent sample size to look at to say that each and every time this has happened. So for us to say that the overwhelming possibility of Bitcoin hitting an all-time new high in the next 2 years is relatively high, I don't think that's very egregious. I think it's a fair hypothesis to give our listeners.
Yeah. What was the question?
No, I'm saying that the fact that we've had a sample size of a couple of cycles now, 4 solid cycles, to see that every time we have a halving event that we hit an new all-time high. And you had said, not financial advice and crypto's risky. And I agreed on both of those statements, but I also said that with the sample size and seeing that each and every time in the past we've seen a halving event and then we've seen a new all-time high, I don't think it's unfair to make a hypothesis to say that that's genuinely going to happen again after this next halving event in 24.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was kind of funny. Life of a Bitcoiner. What my friends think I do, what my parents think I do, what the government thinks I do, what society thinks I do, what my wife thinks I do, what I actually do. This is funny.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm just going through some of my likes on Twitter. I've been you get a lot of great alpha on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter and you're in crypto, you're making a pretty big mistake. I wanted to pull this up too. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it. It's all right though. If the listeners can hear it, that's all that matters.
That's you. You can make some good content out of that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Let's see. All right.
We got a big event coming this week.
Which event?
The Fed makes a decision.
Oh, yeah.
That'll have a big impact on markets, which will correlate, I'm sure, on some level with what happens to the price of Bitcoin. I think it's Wednesday that Powell announces if he's going to raise another 25 basis points, which the market is kind of baking in that they're expecting. But I think even if it goes 25, we're still going to see a move either one way or the other. And honestly, with these markets, dude, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that it's already priced in. I don't know if the markets are going to react positively then negatively, or negatively then positively, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird around these. And again, like when he speaks, I think the price generally tends to move more when he speaks. After it actually gets announced on what it is, and then he talks usually like an hour after the news hits the wire, when it says, okay, they raised 25 basis points. It's more in the language of like what he says where the markets kind of move. But I remember the last time he talked, you saw like the price drop like 1,000, and then eventually like in the next like couple of hours it went right back to where it was before it started. It's just really, really weird. Like the reactions on a Fed speak day are always fascinating. It's so weird. So that'll definitely be a trading day. If you're a trader, to one way or the other, like
very volatile.
There's going to be volatility.
Yeah,
there's going to be volatility.
Traders love volatility. This indicator has just turned green for the third time since 2016. So it's called the super trended moving average.
Did you see the little beef going on Plan B's got on Twitter?
No, what's going on with that?
Plan B's got a little beef with Corey Swan, the owner of Swan Bitcoin Exchange.
Okay.
Swan's kind of calling Plan B's charts kind of horse shit, and they're just going back and forth. And Plan B's taking shots at Corey Swan and his belief system and ideologies on crypto and Bitcoin, and just there's a lot of back and forth. And then when they go back and forth, you see all the comments on the people that are pro Plan B and the people that are pro, Swan. So it's just a little, little beef going on where people are like bored because the price isn't doing anything.
Absolutely.
Got to create content, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When's Define Productions going to get into a beef? Who are we going to beef with?
We can beef with.
Who are we going to call out?
I actually was going to have a skeptic on, but maybe we'll do that soon.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm game for that.
So this is going to end. Any last minute thoughts for the viewers? I know we haven't been posting in a while, but I'll get some really good content from this.
Yeah. No, man, just steady, slow and steady.
Slow and steady. Don't try to get rich overnight. And just only invest with what you can afford to lose, or you don't need the money within at least till next year this time.
Not your keys, not your coins. Don't trust. Verify.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like, follow, subscribe. We'll get this out to you in the next.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like
Hit
button.
the subscribe button.
Get us in that algorithm.
Let's go.
We're building in the bear market. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Peace.